Hey guys, Jen with Astro Tea. Today we are talking about 3 key retrogrades that are coming up and how we can use them to benefit our future and live out the life that we're destined for. So we have 3 significant retrograding and opposite, direct moving planets coming up, stations direct and shadows happening. Actually, it's 1 retrograde, 1 stationing direct, and 1 shadow period that's happening this month. I thought we'd talk a little bit about this. The cliche with retrograding planets are words that can correspond with that planet with RE in front of them. So for example, we're going to learn how we can take these to work them together, because these are really what are going to be the kickoff of our future. And I think just the future as a collective really also, and how we can really use them to benefit our lives. Because again, I've told you this before, things just don't happen. You have to make them happen, and you have to vie for it. You have to work for it. What you work for, you can end up getting in the end. So beginning on the 5th, we have our pre-shadow period with Mars. So the pre-shadow period, again, is when the planet starts slowing down, and the larger the planet, the longer the period can be, and the larger the slowdown. So it's like, a truck coming to a halt. And if it's a big truck, it's going to take a little bit longer to slow down, to then stop and then move backwards. So, and the station is that stop point where it stops on that certain degree before it starts moving backwards. So we have Mars doing that now. It started its shadow period, pre-shadow period on the 5th. And it's going to begin its retrograde cycle on December 6th. So this is a long pre-shadow where we're going to be watching and knowing what we're going to be looking for, knowing what we're going to be working on. So this is going to be in the sign of Cancer. So this can have a lot to do with emotions. It can be have to do with our home lives and, other of those Cancer related issues. So maybe you might feel a little edgy. Maybe you might fly off the handle a little bit, high anxiety, kind of not knowing, really feeling tense maybe. And this is going to happen for a while. So keep this in mind, that this too shall pass. It's just going to take a little while. So if you are feeling that, being on edge, people are easily setting you off, you're easy to fly off the handle, or you're just not feeling quite right, not feeling quite settled, this could be why. So we can prepare for this, retrograde by knowing about this and knowing where this falls in our chart. So mentally preparing for those high emotions, and using that preparation to be able to kind of help to ease it a little bit, and use it for more beneficial things, you could say. So if there are things you are working around, say around the home, for instance, because the Cancer has to do with home and your home life, Cancer, you want to take in that, knowing that these things might have to be reworked, because we are. So if you're working on it now, it might have to be rethought, reworked, replanned, redone. Who knows? If you might need to be maybe a little bit re-energized. Maybe you're feeling a little sluggish. If you're feeling that laziness that Cancer can bring, that, Mercury retrograde can maybe figure out a way to kind of re-energize you a little bit. Things may be coming back to the surface that are maybe re-angering you. Something that maybe is a trigger, an emotional trigger for you, that could be really kind of coming back up to the surface, and getting you really hot and bothered again about it. You could also be reigniting your passion and maybe a lost libido. So something like that, maybe working on getting that back a little bit. You also want to take in this time to re-examine your goals. So Mars is your goals, is things that you work towards. It's not just kind of anger but it's the drive. It's your drive that you're kind of going towards, and it's what pushes you towards those goals. So you might have to, retry things that you've tried before, and maybe it didn't work out maybe it's like fine tuning a little bit and reconfiguring things in order to achieve them. So with this retrograde, pretty much carrying us through all the winter months, because once Mars goes retrograde, it will station to go direct not till February 23rd. And then of course there's a post shadow period after that. So that's a long time of, really a lot going on in wherever Cancer falls in your chart. So where this falls, you want to really expect and, extra stress and anxiety in that area of your life. So for me, for instance, this happens to fall in my 6th house, and my Saturn is in there. And when we talk about Jupiter's also exactly going to be on my Saturn, really drilling into that for the next month as well. So that can be, things that I work hard, stuff that I do in my everyday routines, maybe in my job, maybe I'll finally, really, get what I feel like I deserve, with that Saturn in there. Or, something like that. Maybe your drive, maybe your health, something like that. But again, if it's, say, even in your 4th house, it could be in your home life and your home in general, things that you have to fix, refix, maybe some things that you fixed before is going to come back and give you issues. Maybe in your 10th house, it is with your career, your 7th house, relationships, so on and so forth. You might have a lot to work to do if work you need to put in, even on yourself, if it's in your 1st house. So that's where you want to take time to really reflect on how you navigate through life, how you look at yourself and how you see your future. So you want to, again, be wary of those emotions that are driving you, calm or ease the aggression by really taking it out, again, in positive ways, maybe in physical ways. So go out for a run, go for a swim. Again, this is in Cancer. Dive deep into a project and really just hands on, do something. My husband, he loves going out and chopping wood in the woods. That benefits us for our future in the winter to heat our home, and it's good to just get that aggression out. And he's Capricorn, so working with wood he loves. So do what works for you. Look at your chart, see where it falls, and you can see how you can maybe use those nuances to get through it. This one's going to last a while, but then this is all going to be brought into Jupiter stationing retrograde. Actually, this wasn't happening in my 6th house, because that is happening so Mars is in Cancer. It's in my home house. So that is in my 4th house of house and home, and Jupiter, that was in my 6th house. But I know there's a lot of things going on where we're kind of, up in the air. We love where we live, but we're thinking, do we want to expand, things like that. So this could all come into context in my life. And next, again, we have Jupiter stationing its retrograde on the 9th. So this is a much longer station, as it will be sitting at that 21st degree in Gemini, just drilling in on that. So that's began on September 25th and it really goes until moving out of that degree, not until I think the 23rd of August. So it's a long time that's really drilling in on that one area. And of course, that's right where my Saturn is. So it's really just pushing it on that. If you have planets, angles around, give or take 3 degrees of the 23rd degree in Gemini, or any of the mutable signs, really, but mainly Gemini. This really means you're going to feel it with this Jupiter. Now, Jupiter is a benefic, but it also can expand sometimes the good and the bad. One thing I have noticed is I have a lot of problems in my legs, my knees, just from running and just really, being hard on myself throughout all the years. And it's really been bothering me lately. Hopefully that's something I can work out with just, putting in that work to get work it out of my system. And a lot of the work that we're putting in right now, Mars is working on, I don't know if you can see, but this is a part of my yard covered in leaves every weekend we're doing leave. So this is a lot of Mars, you know, you're working on the home, working on making your home better. So that's one thing that we're doing, you know, doing the same thing over and over again. As far as Jupiter goes, it's learning, it's knowledge. It can be good fortune also, but we might need to relearn some of the things that we've learned, because it is about learning and knowledge. Re-examine to reap the benefits that it can provide. We can really also redefine our belief system. So we might come to some revelations that we could find out that, you know, it really throws a kind of a wrench into what we've, you know, believed our whole lives, or things that we have come to believe in the recent months. We can also benefit us to reconnect with our spirituality, and that can also help ease those tensions with that Mars. So you see how these can really work together. You use one to help the other. You know, it's all just kind of an ebb and flow. Just like, you know, the Wheel of Fortune, which is that Jupiter ruled kind of card in tarot, there are going to be ups and there's going to be downs. We just need to have faith in ourselves, and it can be any kind of faith that you want, just a spiritual faith, but just faith and the knowledge that, you know, the world around us, and that we ourselves can make the right decisions on our future. Finally, how will that Mars and Jupiter cycle then work with Pluto as we begin to move into Pluto's final 29th degree pass in Capricorn, before it moves into Aquarius pretty much for the next 20 years. So you look at that 29th degree as your last shot. So it's almost kind of like you're in not panic mode, but kind of in panic mode. It's that take it or leave it groundwork that will be there to use if we choose to work on it. The landscape of the United States and potentially the world might look really differently over these next 20 years that are coming by. Because again, don't forget that this Pluto falls on the Pluto return for the United States. So this could drastically be a death and rebirth of the way life is for us here in the US anyway, as we know it. We also have pretty much all of our outer planets changing signs. So as we navigate these next 20 years, these are all going to be moving into signs that we in our lives are that we've never seen and we're never going to see again, no matter how old or young you are. So we have Pluto, we have Neptune, and even Uranus moving into areas again that we've never known, we've never seen, and we just have to go by the history books to see and compare on what, you know, events happened around when it was in that sign prior. So this really is kind of, I think these three key transits are really the kickoff to the rest of our lives. And if you are thinking positively and you are ready to put in that work because you know what you want, you know what your goals are, and you know, it can really change the world around us. It can change ourselves for the better, or you know, we can be left out. You can ride those waves and work your way in, and it can be tough and it can be rough, but if you put in that work, or you can be left out to sea. So it's all you and how you choose to use the lessons that you are taught to transform your life, and use those Jupiterian lessons that can be difficult, but they can be big and informative and helpful in another way. So let me know in the comments what you all think. I know I have a lot of positivity and a lot of excitement about what's going to be coming up. I just feel really positive about it, at least in my own life and in my home life. Even though with Mars, it's not always been my best friend, but I think it's just really going to get down to nitty gritty and make some really positive changes. And I hope that that is the case for the rest of the world as well. Again, let me know in the comments what y'all think, and make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, and I will see you all soon. Bye.